and my camera didn't come on. God, you gotta love that, right? Guys, hang on 1 second. I'll get my camera on. Here we go. Let's try it again. There I am. Okay, that happens about once every 100 times. Welcome everybody to Dead Talk Live. Tonight we have special guests Camilla Rutherford and Paige Ruth, who are the stars of Father of Flies, which is releasing tomorrow on digital and video on demand. I want to welcome the both of you for being here. The movie was great. I thought the chemistry between you two was amazing, as we talked about before we started the show. So let's just dive right into it. Camilla, I'd love to know, you have been doing this for a long time now and you've played such a wide spectrum of roles. What was it like to step into that evil stepmother role?
Well, I mean, I start out always finding what I love about the character, and so I didn't. I really loved her from the start, and I related to her, and I really believed in her story. That she was very much in love with Richard, who she meets at a conference, and she's extremely happy to move into his home and life, and is very optimistic about their future.
We're going to delve deeper into your character in a bit, but Paige, I got to ask you, uh, is IMDb correct? Is this your first full feature film?
Yes. Yeah, this was I think the third thing I had really worked on, so I was super green to it.
So tell us about the experience coming onto a set, doing a full feature film. You've done various shorts before that. What was it like? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous. I mean, it was so nice to be on set, with actors like Camilla and Nick, because they're just such like masters of their craft. So I feel like I really got to learn a lot just by, playing around with them and watching how they work. And yeah, but it was overall really great. And Ben is like a very easy director to me. Like he doesn't micromanage a lot, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like really okay with I think you playing around with your own interpretations of things, and a lot of the scenes were very like short. So I guess that could be kind of nerve wracking, but it was kind of nice because you only had so much time to do everything. So you kind of just put in your all, and um,
It
yeah,
worked out. It definitely
and it
worked
worked
out.
out.
Now, Camilla, when it comes to your character, Coral, and Donna's relationship, Donna
Yes.
is Paige's character in the movie. You guys, typical sort of about to be stepmother, daughter, clashing of personalities. The daughter doesn't like you. Uh, did you guys sort of work out how you guys were going to play it off? Is it going to be Coral really trying to make an effort with Donna, or was it said in the script the way that Coral approached Donna and her attitude towards Donna? That was always going to be it from the start.
Well, the story has its arc, and it was there in the script, so we went along with that, and Donna was brilliant, I thought, it's really difficult for someone of her age to accept a new person in the family naturally, anyway, and Donna understood that perfectly, I think.
Yeah,
Um, Go
I
on.
completely agree with that. I think she's supposed to be around like 17, kind of, right about to start adulthood. So, for something, to not have your biological mother around and have someone coming in and understandably wanting to be the woman of the house, I think, um, for someone in Donna's position, like that would be a bit hard to wrap your head around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was also just in her angsty, teen phase, which I can relate. I had one. So I just kind of channeled that.
And meanwhile, Coral thinks that her love will conquer all, and that she's going to have this new relationship, and that she probably underestimates the importance of her new partner's relationship with his child, his previous life, and I suppose she's hoping that that they can just move on and that it won't matter that much. But unfortunately,
it doesn't.
The teenager has other ideas.
This movie has a great plot twist in the end. I didn't see it coming at all. Now Donna is really protective of her little brother, Michael. Okay, and Michael is sort of like the central character to which the story revolves around. Now, Paige, when you were working, when Donna was, would you say Donna was very overprotective of Michael, especially when it came to Coral's character?
I would say so. Yeah, and there's a lot of things in the script where I'm not sure if they totally translated to screen, but it was definitely nice to have that sort of like underneath the story, just for all of us to base how we feel about certain things and how we're gonna like move about that world. So yeah, I would say she is very protective of him, and I maybe like wanting to keep his like innocence a bit more more preserved.
Would you say Donna was sort of stepping in to fill the void of the real mom that's not in the picture?
I don't know if I could say that, because to me, I feel that she kind of checks out mentally with. I don't want to give it away. I don't know if we're supposed to with
No.
with the plot. So she's really going through something emotionally, and I think at first she's trying to be there a lot more for him, but as kind of all of their lives start unraveling, I feel like she kind of takes a step back and I don't know, has to figure it out for herself.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Now, Camilla, your character, Coral, very guarded personality. We really don't know what she is thinking except for her demeanor. And your demeanor comes across as your character being very malevolent. And that's not really the case in a lot of the aspects. Did you and Ben have very specific talks as to what extent and what actions Coral would do throughout this film?
No, as Paige was saying, he was really trusting of our decisions. I mean, once the casting's done, we're left to make that interpretation mostly ourselves. But I thought it was. I mean, you call it malevolent. I thought it was important for her to have quite an unreadable expression, so that she could remain ambiguous. So that
I definitely cannot figure out your character. I'm like, I didn't know how far you were going to go, won't go, and so on. Now, when you got casted for this role, obviously, this film is somewhere in America. You're British, obviously. Duh. Do you think Ben? Before I ask this question, Camilla, I gotta say I really debated whether I should ask this or not, but I'm going to. I'm going to ask.
Go
this.
ahead.
Do you think Ben debated the quote unquote American stereotype of people in the UK, Brits, being very cold, guarded, and not showing their emotions? It's a totally untrue stereotype, but do you think Ben was trying to really get to that part when he casted you?
The film deals with this feeling of the outsider or the invader, the cuckoo, somebody who comes inside an already built nest, so an outsider. And so I think that may well have been helpful, that stereotype of the cold English person, and adds to that feeling of foreignness to the family. Yeah, so be it. American people sometimes think that English people are cold. That could well have helped with the role. She was left alone and in a house in the forest, she was also a foreigner in another country, a new person in a family, and all of that adds to the feeling of otherness outside.
One thing that Coral does not lack is confidence. At least that's the way it comes across. When you came into this doing a horror project, this is what is now called elevated horror, which I just found out very recently is any horror movie that's just not a slasher and actually has a plot and character building and whatnot. How'd you feel, how do you feel doing this type of genre? I mean, a straight up movie that is supposed to scare people and push things to the limit a little bit.
Well, you really want to get a reaction out of people from any type of genre, and one doesn't have an objection to going into any type of genre film, particularly if it has a good plot. And sometimes, I suppose a genre can make can dominate more than the story. But this is really story led, and if it scares people or makes people feel anything at all, that's a really positive reaction.
Exactly.
Laugh, cry, be scared. Yes, please. It's a great result, really.
Absolutely. Now, Paige, Camilla wears that mask. Okay, very often in the movie. It's a very, very creepy mask that she wears. And guys, I know nobody's really watched this yet. It's not like a Halloween mask. It's a sort of a therapeutic type of a mask that she wears throughout the day. Donna, I called you Donna. Paige, being on the set and acting out your scenes, did you ever go to Ben and say, what's up with this mask? Is it just there to add into the creep factor, the scare factor? What were your thoughts?
Well, it was always in the script that she would be walking around in these, very luxurious robes with her mask on. And I'm someone that really appreciates visuals, so I think that the visual of it just added to the elements, and not really knowing who Camilla is or what her intentions are, and again with the foreigner aspect, I think it added this like layer of it was like a shield or something to her, but also making it harder, at least for the children, to understand her.
You really can get these masks.
Yeah.
They're not an invention. In fact, I have one, which is a pure coincidence. And I was thinking of coming to this interview wearing it, actually.
Oh, God. That would have scared the crap out of me. When you were wearing the mask in the movie, Camilla, you're wearing a mask. Obviously, we can't see your facial expressions, but you're still acting. You're still in character. Through your body movements, what were you trying to convey? Obviously, the mask is there because it's a very creepy mask. It's there to convey some kind of scare, fear, and it does that.
But it's not just there for that. It's there because she's spending loads of time alone at home, and she's really wants to stay being beautiful, and it's a beautification mask, and she wants to look resplendent for her new love, and so she sits around in her face mask. So actually, it happens to have this scary aspect to it, but it's really also just quite a mundane thing in another way. And we didn't know what was going to happen to the world vis-a-vis masks further on down the line, because we shot it before that.
Now, I want to ask you both this question. We know that movies today, well, for always it's been like this. It depends on the writer, the director. They sort of leave a backstory blank, and it's very important for actors to portray the characters to have some sort of backstory. I want to start with Camilla. When it came to your character, you talked about the whole foreigner aspect, but when it came to her relations with the family itself, her interactions with the children, uh, how did you build a backstory of how you actually started to spend time in the house with the family? To you guys had a conversation about making it permanent. What kind of backstory did you build for Coral?
Okay, well, my backstory was that I'd been taking my career quite seriously, and so I really delayed becoming a mother myself. And I met Richard, Nick's character, at a conference. He's always traveling to go to these conferences,
Mm-hmm.
and we live in really international worlds, and I met him there, and we managed to see each other occasionally, and on these work trips, and gradually a relationship formed. And then I started to go for weekends at the house, and gradually started to make myself more and more at home, and hoping to become lady of the manor as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question, Camilla. You think if Coral had a choice in that building of the backstory that we were talking about, you think she would wish that the children were not in the picture, or is that what she wants?
Well, she really finds that side of him attractive, that he's a family man, because she's been a bit of a career woman. Well, as I say, that's my backstory for
Yeah.
her. It wasn't a script, but I thought, it's a brilliant, I mean, it's quite common that people put off having a baby for
Oh yeah.
later. And So she's really delighted that he's a family man, because that represents the future that she wants herself. And as I say, she probably underestimated
Oh yeah.
the size of the responsibility, and thought that they could be somehow put to the side, and everyone could get on fine, and that they wouldn't annoy her as much as they do.
Totally true. Now, Paige, when it comes to Donna, I don't want to ask you about the relationship with Camilla, but what kind of backstory, if any, did you build as to what happened to your real Donna's real mom? Because that is something that's kind of left ambiguous for us. We don't really know. So when it came to Donna's real mom, did you build any kind of a backstory for that?
You know, I was so green, and I really didn't have any professional training until after the movie, and so that's when I started to learn about all of that. But I think for me it was slightly easier, just because with what was in the script, it was pretty spelled out. Like, I had had a relatively normal childhood, and then my biological mother did have some kind of what my backstory was like some kind of alcoholic issue or mental
Mm-hmm.
like instability, and so they weren't able to work out the marriage, which then you know kind of created some chaos in my life, and then the story kind of starts from there with Coral coming into the picture.
Like you said, you called yourself green. Being green on the set, did you find everybody from Ben, Camilla, everybody supported you and helped you if you had any questions? And the experience that you got out of this was just invaluable.
Oh yes, I think I mean, it's next to impossible to kind of book anything, but that was if you can book something without any training, it is just absolutely the best training. There's no class that will ever compare to,
Yeah.
shooting a project.
And, you did not have easy scenes in this movie. You had to go through a big arc with your emotions. Was that difficult for you being inexperienced?
When I read it when I initially got the script and I read it, I cried and I felt different ways just going throughout the script. So I'm someone that easily accesses emotions, and just the way we end up changing the dialogue on the shooting day, but the way things were written would just like, bring these emotions out of you. So not to say it was like easy at all, but I think, Ben and his writing partner Nadia and everyone being so supportive, and having, I had a very emotional scene with Camilla or Coral at the
Hmm.
end, and like when you have someone that is such a master, it's so much easier. Having a great scene partner makes acting a lot easier, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. Now, Camilla, the ending, like I said, really, I did not see it coming. When you were reading the script and you got to the end and you saw what Ben was getting at the whole time and how the film reaches its climax, what were your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you think it was, he gave it a special, unique touch that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect, really a perfect opportunity to try and lead the audience in unexpected directions.
Yeah,
Thought I
yeah, we got to be careful because we don't want to give away any spoilers. I totally understand. There is this one scene where it's you on the stairs with the rope and securing a door. Uh, as we're watching the film, we're like, oh my God, what is this woman doing? This is just nuts. But the end, everything gets explained. Um, I was one of those people. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is she doing? When it came to that scene, I think that was a very important scene in the movie
Yeah,
to
I did
display
too.
that. I mean, did you like that the way that was played out and the way it was written out?
Yeah, I really like that bit. And I agree. Sometimes little things can really stick in your mind when you watch something, even just little cutaway of the way someone is handling a piece of rope or closing a door or something like that. There's that a certain energy can really affect you. And when I was closing that door and using that rope, I wanted to do it with a real passion and certainty. She is, really in a state of really heightened emotion at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can't talk too much about it because it is going to spoil the movie, and we don't want to do that.
exactly.
Camilla, I just want to ask you one final question. You've had a brilliant career. You've acted in a lot of big titles like Gosford Park, as Isabel, and so on. At this point, you've done so much work. Is there any character that you have yet to play that you would love to do? Whether it be a villain, a protagonist, or anything that you have not done that you're still craving to do at this point?
Oh, I mean, I'm always craving to play an interesting part with an interesting character and a full personality and scope for intrigue. And actually, it's good because as you get older, you tend to be offered less of the insipid parts. The I love you sweet roles sometimes more difficult to play
Mm-hmm.
and less interesting. So I get very excited of playing new people,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in good scripts.
Oh yeah. Now, Paige, I want to ask you a sort of a different question. You're at the start of your acting career. You have talent. That's obvious when people watch this film. You've got plenty of talent. As you head out into this world and you start auditioning for different roles and you start booking different roles, uh, do you want to? Where do you want your career to go? Obviously, success. Duh. You want to be successful in what you do. But do you want to be considered a genre actor, or do you want to do like the wide spectrum of roles? You want to play the drama, the character. You want to do more horror in the future, comedy, and whatnot.
Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're starting out, you usually don't have a lot of choice. So anything that comes in and wants me, I want it too. But um, yeah, um I'd be interested in playing a villain. I'd be interested in playing a detective. I'd be interested in playing maybe like a drug addict or someone that's like really going through a very turbulent time in their life. Um, I don't see myself as a genre actor or doing, being a kind of final girl
Mm-hmm.
actor. If I do another horror film, I don't even like to consider Father of Flies horror, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
it would have to be something more intellectually driven.
yeah.
I I like complicated characters, and I like people going through, you know, uh, kind of different phases of their life.
You said something interesting earlier. You said that after you got done filming Father of Flies, you took lessons that you had never done before. What made you decide to take lessons after you shot your first feature film?
Well, so I shot my first feature, and then I only had a manager at that time, so then I found representation, and I did start auditioning, and I was lucky to audition. Like here in LA, it's a lot of mostly like TV. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was going up for these leads, and sometimes it would be great and I'd really relate to a character, and then other times I'd be like, "Oh my God, I don't know how to be this person, or I don't have any similar life experiences." So then I was like, okay, maybe I should take a class or two.
Yep, that's excellent. Guys, I want to thank you so much. Again, Camilla Rutherford, Paige Ruth, you guys were amazing. The movie is coming out tomorrow. It's called Father of Flies. It's coming out on digital and video on demand. It's a fascinating movie. Please check it out, and you'll get to see what we were not able to talk about today. I want to thank my two guests. Camilla, do you have any final thoughts before we go?
Yes, just a couple. One is Ben sends his apologies for not being here and is really missing out on that. And sorry about it. And the other is that the film is dedicated to Nicholas Tucci, who isn't here with us anymore,
Yeah.
and which is terribly and horribly sad. And he never got to see the film, and so it's a present to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. How about you, Paige? Do you have any final thoughts before we go?
She took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, the film's dedicated to Nick, and I hope you all see it, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. It's tragic what happened. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank our audience for tuning in, whether you're watching this live or going to be watching this later on. Again, thank you to both our guests. Until next time, stay safe, everybody. And on behalf of Camilla and Paige, stay walking. Good night, everybody.
Good night.